thank you for volunteering to host an Aging in Place workshop in your community. Aging in place is a difficult topic, but a really important one, and this workshop is a great way to get started. It's a great way to start the conversation and for your participants to make some concrete steps in planning for their future. And we want them to have the future they want as they age, and planning is key to that. The facilitation video, as well as the topical videos and the workbook, are all designed to work together to help you have a successful workshop. The workbook is broken up into 5 topics. We have housing, health and wellness, transportation, personal finance, and connection and growth. And through this workshop, you'll go through each one of those topics with the group, and we'll give you helpful hints on how to organize your room, how to organize and help with group dynamics, and how to cover each of these important topics in the workbook. We suggest you set aside several hours for the workshop. We've created a template so you can create an agenda for your meeting. We've also provided you with some suggested times for each section. Some sections take longer to go through than others. For instance, the housing section often takes longer than some of the other sections. But again, think about your group and feel free to modify as you see fit. You can make any setting work for your workshop. You can hold the workshop in a room at your community center. It could be a room at your place of worship. You can hold it in your living room. You can make any of these settings work. You just need to do a little planning ahead of time. So think about how you'd like to set up the room, both in terms of using the resources of the PowerPoint presentation, the videos, as well as the workbooks. And we'll talk a little later about how to actually set up the room to get the best group dynamics. But you do want to think about how you lay out the tables and chairs to make sure that whatever room you've selected, it's going to facilitate the best interaction between your participants. So let's talk about setting up the room. You'll have the most success if you can find a way for people to have a surface to write on, a table or groups of tables, so that people can sit around. That will facilitate talking and interaction amongst your group. You're also going to want to think about other aspects of the facility, such as access to the facility, lighting. You want to make sure that everyone can see and hear the videos and the PowerPoint presentation. So the workbook is broken up into those 5 topical areas, and we've created resources to go along with each of those topical areas. You have a video for each topical area, and each of the 5 topical areas has 3 key points. They're covered in the base PowerPoint presentation we've provided, as well as in the videos. And you can alter the PowerPoint presentation to meet your group's needs if there are things you think you want to add or additional resources you want to make them aware of. You can help shape this workshop however you think will work best for your participants. Each chapter contains the 3 key points. It also has a list of questions for your participants to answer. We've also included side boxes called Did You Know or Helpful Resources that provide additional information on each topic. And at the end of the workbook, there's a place for your participants to work on their own plan, as well as more resources for them to look for. So after you've shown the video and gone through the PowerPoint slides on a particular topic, you'll want to stop and let your participants explore the workbook. There are a lot of questions in the workbook, and they probably won't have time to answer all of them, and some of them you participants won't know the answer to, and that's all right. So you want to reassure them that they're not expected to answer everything and have all the answers today. The day of their workshop is really the day for them to plan. After having a chance to look at the questions and go through the workbook, you'll probably want to stop and let your group discuss that particular topic. We found that the interaction between the group is really helpful. People have great ideas that they want to share with other people, and that discussion really helps people when they want to plan and go back to finish the questions or finish their own plan for that topic. To help you plan the workshop, we have a logistics checklist. It's a comprehensive list of all the things you're going to need to think about before you start the workshop. We'll talk about setting up the room, how to use equipment, and the things you'll want to send to your workshop participants ahead of time. We think that the checklist is an easy way for you to make sure that your workshop is successful. Group discussion can be an important part of this planning process. We suggest small groups, 4, 6, probably no more than 8 people. You'll also want to decide whether you want to have some type of concluding group session. So you may talk about each topic. At the end of that, you may have group discussion, but you may want to have some concluding or reporting out at the end of the workshop. You're also going to want to talk about next steps. As we've discussed, it's not possible to get through all the questions in the workbook during the workshop, so you want to motivate people to complete that planning step. You can encourage them to select an accountability partner or have some way to share with other group members to help make sure that people take the workbook home and keep doing that planning work. The Facilitation Guide is a helpful tool for planning a workshop. The guide explains step by step the structure of the workbook so you can be familiar with the content and approach before the day of your workshop. The workbook appendices include resources in addition to the PowerPoint presentation and videos. There's space for each participant to map out their own development plan, including a Plan A and Plan B. This is an important approach to get participants to think not only about their ideal future, but to commit to alternate possibilities if Plan A doesn't pan out. There's a template for budget planning, and we've included a template for a home maintenance checklist. There are several pages in the Facilitation Guide devoted to the nuts and bolts of workshop planning, covering selection of a venue, publicity, room setup, technology, and tips on group dynamics and how to handle some situations that may be challenging. The guide includes a number of forms and templates. There's a template agenda with sample times for each section, suggested questions for each chapter if you need to stimulate group discussion, an advertising flyer, an evaluation form, a sample of a group agreement to set rules of interaction up front. Mostly it's just a gentle reminder for people to participate and let others participate. And finally, there's a workshop checklist. It includes pre-planning items, printing, technology issues, and supplies you'll need. We hope the Facilitation Guide and Facilitation videos put you on the road to hosting a successful workshop. And thank you for helping people in your community plan for aging in place.